If you want our e-commerce store to lie in that 5% of stores that are absolutely crushing it, you need the browse abandonment flow set up. In this flow, people just viewed your product, they haven't added anything to your cart, and exited. That's where you fire it. And there are 5 biggest reasons people abandon that place. Number 1 is that they're still comparing products, either with yourself or with your competitors. Number 2 is that the price surprised them. They were just shocked by the price and they can't decide and they can't find proof enough to be able to buy it. Number 3 is the page didn't answer the specific objection you handle. And I'm going to show you how to handle objections without even knowing what kind of objections they have. Number 4 is that they don't trust you yet. They simply don't trust you. They might not know your brand enough yet to buy from you. And number 5 is the page did not make them want it. So you don't have enough videos, you don't have enough images inside the page, and that's completely fine because we have their email, so we can blast them with all of those things next. So as I mentioned, the browse abandonment is mainly a page problem, but email makes up for it, which I'm going to show you right now. So email 1 goes at 1 hour. So within 1 hour after they've exited the website, and here you handle the biggest objection they have, right? So you just simply put one objection. You don't open with just a soft reminder or anything like that. You simply go ahead and reframe what they're already buying. So not necessarily to talk about more about the product itself, but about the mechanics, about the pricing, about why they pay for it. In that email, you also compare it to other alternatives they can buy. You make a comparison table and you list your own benefits. And finally, you finish up the email by listing some of the other variation of the same product. It's not an alternative. It simply could be a different color, different size of the same item, and so on. And so if you take a look at the example over here, right? This is for tissues and it says $40 for tissues. I mean, people have these objections because they will see a price and obviously that's ridiculous, right? But they're missing something. It's because you're not buying the tissues. You're buying the thing that holds them. So essentially, they buy this thing and the tissues for $40, but the actual restack of the paper towels will be $15 only. That's the main objection that people are missing because they immediately see the price and they're not educated enough, which we're tackling here. Again, we're not saying more about the product. We're not saying how great tissues are. We're just explaining the mechanics, why they pay for it in the first place. Then we show that comparison that I told you about, right? Simply why this is better than other tissues that are out there. And we clearly lose for some of them. We say, hey, per use, you'll pay more for this, but you also get all of these things right here. And then obviously, we end up by just giving them other options. So you can say, hey, pick the one you would leave out. So espresso, smoked so, love bite, fan daddy, like these different colors for the same thing. Again, not an alternative, just a different variation. And obviously, we end up with a CTA saying CiviKit. After this specific email, you can send up to 2 more emails. I'm going to explain how to do that. One of the emails is an optional one, and the optional one is the educational. You might send an email educating them, or maybe a founder-led message, simply saying why they built this specific product for this specific audience, right? Very simple. The last email always, whether you do 2 email sequence or 3 email sequence, should be a slight small offer. So a discount, a guarantee, anything like that, right? And so the psychology here is more so just make them curious and not really pressure them because they haven't bought anything yet. And, you can't really fake the urgency really early in the sale. They have more journey to go through. And so here's the example email for the second email or the last email, right? 15% off the blow kit. Code this ends expiry, right? It's very important to put an end date into that one. But again, make them curious more so. Don't really ram it up through the entire email. And here we say, the only one you keep coming back to is the one that sits in the nightstand at 3 in the morning, which is exactly where a cardboard box is at its worst, right? Really, really solid copyrights in here. And the button says Square 15% off. Then you go into this section when it says a box you do not have to hide. So again, one more objection that is being handled over here, and again, comparison box right here one more time. Then you remind them of the first email. Maybe they didn't even see the first email, so you remind of that objection that previously was handled. And then again, you finish up by having a nice CTA to be able to actually click on it and be redirected directly to bug. Subject lines. Yes, subject line in these specific emails should be very simple. It should include your product name dynamically and simply question about product name, something like that. It shouldn't be something like you left this behind, because they haven't really chosen that and added that to the cart.